Hey y'all and welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos, and today I'm super excited to be sharing kind of battle of the palettes to see how similar they are. And I'm talking about, of course you guys have already seen this, but the At Forest Sight Raw Beauty Christie x Colourpop palette against the Subculture palette from ABH. Now the Subculture palette, as far as I know, is discontinued. It's not available anymore, so maybe if you missed out on this one, this video today will help you guys be able to see, you know, is the Raw Beauty Christie one a good replacement, a good duplicate of it, so you can grab this palette and have the same vibes as the Subculture one did. I think that's really great for people who didn't get their hands on Subculture to be able to potentially snag the Colourpop one if the colors are close enough on the eyes. And yeah, that's what we're doing. It's a very laid back video. It's more so just me wanting to play with makeup. I want to try both of these side by side to see how similar they are, and then just see the differences that we see in the look. And as you guys can already tell, I do have it on my eyes today. I already did my makeup. Can you tell which palette is on which eye? I would love to hear, or if you can tell a difference at all. If you can't tell a difference between the two eyes, let me know that down below. But if you can, let me know your guesses before we get into the tutorial and putting them on my eyes. Let me know which palette you think is on which eye. I'm always very curious to hear if you guys can guess it before we dive into it. But yeah, with that said, we can just go ahead and jump right into it. I kind of explained already, but Levi didn't sleep well last night. I think I might have got 4 hours of sleep. Mama is running on low energy today, so it's a very chill, laid-back video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll put some nice music to it, but I just didn't feel very chit-chatty today. But I really wanted to play with these palettes. I've been sitting here staring at the At Forest Sight for, I feel like, weeks at this point, not being able to play with it, so I'm excited that I finally got to play with it. Look for end of January sometime at my review and a Palette Palooza roundup with this palette, because these tones, I'm just so excited to get into them. But yeah, with all that said, let's go ahead and just jump right into it and get to putting these on my eyes and seeing how similar exactly they are when they're used side by side.
Before we do that though, let's go ahead and do my Instagram shout out for today. And for today, I'm going to be highlighting this commenter from my most recent Instagram post. They left this really sweet comment and it just stood out to me and I really do appreciate it. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to comment on my posts over on Instagram. I really do appreciate it. And you are my Instagram shout out for today.
I just used the Gerard Clean Canvas Eye Base to prep for both eyes, and I'm going to try to use the same brushes on each eye just to keep it the same. If I have two of the same brush, I will use that. If not, I will clean it on a color switch in between. But let's go ahead. Which one should I do on which eye? I'm going to do Raw Beauty Christie on my left and Subculture on my right. And also, I'm just not feeling super chatty. I had a very long night with my son, so honestly, I'm pretty tired. So I'm just going to do a lot of music to this one, and we're just going to relax. I'm going to listen to some music as I'm doing this, and we'll comment where needed, but for the most part, I won't. This isn't going to be one of my chatty type of first impressions or comparison videos, so I hope that's okay. But let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to start with the Raw Beauty Christie At Forest Sight, that's what it's called. And I want to start out with this mustard shade, Chanterelle. And this mustard shade honestly looks like a combination of, what's this, New Wave and Edges from the Subculture, but for the sake of this video, I think I'm going to use these two. So I'll use New Wave to compare to Chanterelle, because this is just a lot more cool tone than these two are, so I'm going to use those two on either eye. So let's jump into it. Okay, so here's where we're at. This is New Wave, and then this is the Raw Beauty Christie. I think Chanterelle. I could be mispronouncing that. Anyway, this is a lot more warm toned than the Colourpop one, so I am going to top it with edges just a little bit because I'm trying to see how similar these can be, and I totally think you can mix colors to get the same look. So I'm just going to put this edges very lightly, tapping it off right on top just to bring a little bit of coolness to it and hopefully kind of get the same look is what I got going on there. But yeah, New Wave is definitely a lot more warm tone than the Colourpop one. Still a big difference on camera. I feel like in person I can see it. There's a lot more depth to this too, which is to be expected, I suppose. Like, Subculture is just so intensely pigmented. So I'm gonna go back. I cleaned my brush off. I'm gonna go back to the Colourpop side and just try to build it up a little bit, just so they both colors pop well. Okay, so here's what we're at. Definitely a little bit different, but not too bad. And I definitely think putting the edges on top of the new wave helped cool this down a bit. It just added more depth on this side, but that's okay because we're gonna go on with another shade. I'll try this one. It's from Stilazzi. I'm gonna go right into the crease. I'm gonna add in Fiddle. Let me swatch it so we can see. And I think the similar shade is Destiny. Oop, did I even show you guys? In Subculture. But yeah, Destiny is a lot more cool toned. But then Untamed in the palette is too dark. So I'm gonna go in with Destiny, compare that to Fiddlehead. So here's what we're looking like, and I like how it looks. I'm gonna go back into that first shade that I put, and I'm just gonna help blend out the edges because it was a little unblended right there. Just go back and forth with these two until I like how that transition looks. I don't know if you guys can tell in the recording, but I feel like a big difference I'm seeing is this side I have to work a whole lot less hard than this side. I feel like I have to spend a little bit more time building up, whereas the Subculture side is just like, as soon as I touch down my brush, I feel like it's halfway blended already. So definitely a bit of a difference there. Just gonna blend out that edge. Like that. I feel like this is also this gray. It is a very cool tone green, but it definitely ends up looking just a lot more gray-brown instead of green. Whereas this, I feel like it's still deep and it's still a very muted green. Not saying it's not because it's mixed with that yellow, but there is a little bit more greenness that pops. Or at least for me, I can see the green in it easier than on this side. Okay, now I want to go in with Emerald City, and I'm going to compare that and do, or contrast that with Axis on the other side. So here's what we're looking at. Still a lot more vibrant of a green, whereas this is just such a dark toned green. So quick and easy to use. Okay, so here's what we're looking like so far. Let's do the shimmer. I'm gonna go in with Evergreen for this side. My fingers are now stained from that dark one. And then I feel like Electric from the Subculture, that one, are similar. Yeah, but the Colourpop's a lot darker than the Electric one. So we shall see. I got places to go today. This could backfire on me. I'm gonna put a little bit of this Alamar primer to kind of act like a glitter glue, and also it gives just a touch of coverage. So these both shades are more so translucent, so I think it'll help it not show the color underneath. Alright, now to do the electric on the Subculture side. It is a lot more firmly pressed, so I'm really digging in there. That's a huge difference. I like the electric from Subculture just because it's a lot more vibrant and bright. I wonder if I think the gold from the, I think the gold is just gonna be too goldish and it'll really change the color. Let me see. Yeah, it's gonna be too gold. I need more of like a white champagne-y to mix with this to really make it match this. So we're not even gonna try to touch that. So here's where we are at. This is going a lot differently than I anticipated. For some reason, I just thought they would look so identical because I was swatching and playing around with it and I'm like, oh yeah, they're close enough. But I feel like we're ending up at pretty different conclusions here. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my face and I'm going to finish out my lower lash line and I'm just going to use the same shades I used up here, down here, you know, one for each palette. So I'm not going to show that because I feel like it's a little bit repetitive. And then I think I'm going to use Cube for an inner corner highlight from the Subculture for both eyes because the only other one is gold and I know that's not going to match because there's only 2 shimmers and then this glitter filled matte, but there's no highlight shade in Raw Beauty Christie's. So I'm gonna do that and then we can close out this video and I can finalize my thoughts. But yeah, so far it's going a lot differently than I anticipated. Let me know which side you like more. I'm very curious. Alright, so here is the finished look. Let me know what you guys think. I am so very curious. We have If You Forgot Subculture on my right and then At Forest Sight on my left from Colourpop and Raw Beauty Christie. They're definitely such a big difference. I honestly thought that they would look identical because even the shimmers I thought were a lot closer than they are, but the Raw Beauty Christie has just a lot more depth to it. And then even the mattes that I use, like each of them has the same idea because I did use mustards and greens, but they're definitely different shades of mustards and greens. And also as I was kind of looking up close, I feel like I said, I spent a lot less time blending this side than this side, but even with the more blending on this side, I still feel like this has a more seamless blend to my eye look than this side does. This side just has a little bit more problematic, but overall, not saying that anything wrong with the formula. It's just something I noticed with the formula being, it just takes a little bit more time and just doesn't blend as seamlessly as the Subculture one does. And you know, for all the gripe and all the hate that the Subculture got, it is very pigmented and it takes no work to use. Like, I feel like that blend is perfection. So yeah, no surprises on the bottom lash line. I didn't do much to my face today because I am going out. I'm gonna wear a mask. I never put on much besides concealer on my face when I have to wear a mask. So this is my look for today. And yeah, that is pretty much the video. I'm so curious to hear what you guys think. Do you think that they're similar enough to be like dupes for each other? For me personally, being a grungy green lover, I feel like each of them are valid and different. This isn't a review or anything, or even just saying like, yes, this is definitely a dupe. I was just curious to see how they looked on both eyes, so I'm very curious to hear what you guys think. Do you think that they're close enough to be interchangeable? Do you think, you know, if you missed out on this one, you can have this one and feel satisfied having the same similar color story? They're definitely similar, but there are just some differences in the hues that I feel like makes them both justifiable for me in my collection. And then formula-wise, the ABH Subculture formula is just so very nice and pigmented. It's just a breeze to work with. Every time I work with it, I just can't get over how pigmented it is and how easy it is to create a look. You know, like I said, the Raw Beauty Christie and Colourpop, not that this is a bad formula, but it definitely just takes a little bit more work, a little bit more building up, and a little bit more time blending. But I still think that this eye looks really pretty. And then for the shimmers, I only tried the one, but I definitely don't, it's not my favorite type of shimmer just because it's one of those more subdued, very translucent type of shimmers. So I'm glad I put a base under it to give it some color and to make sure I didn't see a lot of shadow underneath, but it is pretty. Definitely the Subculture side is just a lot more sparkly, but I can't get over this blend. This blend is like perfection. This one, whatever, we're not talking about. But anyway, that is basically the video. As I already said in the beginning, this was just to see the difference. It wasn't to like, you know, make drama or call out Colourpop or even to say like, yes, this is definitely a dupe. You can throw this out of your collection. I was just curious to see how they would look on the eyes, and I was really curious to try the At Forest Sight palette. So I thought this would be a fun way to share a video with you guys using the At Forest Sight by Colourpop and Raw Beauty Christie for the first time. So yeah, with all that said, that's gonna do it for today's video. I'll keep the outro pretty short and sweet. Let me know your thoughts down below. Which eye do you like better? Did you guess it in the intro? Did you guess which side was Colourpop and which side was Subculture? I would love to know that. And yeah, now I got to figure out a way to make these less different. I think I'm just going to add some of the Subculture shimmer on this lid, and I think it'll be good enough to go out and not look too crazy. But anyway, yeah, with all that said, if you want to continue getting daily content from me, I'm over on Instagram. I'm LadyKD92. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up as it helps me in the whole YouTube algorithm. And I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye, guys.